One.
Hi, everyone. This is Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Tim and Kerryann Van Der Westen. Welcome to the Craig Proctor podcast.
Thank you very much.
Hey, you guys have an amazing story. First of all, thank you very much for being here. We were chatting a little bit before we got started, and they've definitely got the bug. They see the massive opportunity in front of them, and they're seizing it. So you've had just incredible success. Let's go right back to the beginning. What were you guys doing before you met me, and what has happened to your business since that time?
Before we met you, essentially, I was a part-time agent since 2016, and then went full-time in November, October 2020. I tried a local coach for a little bit, but it didn't really work out. So I was on the hunt for coaching, and honestly, all we did was try to do referral based, marketing, which didn't really work out for us. We did about 3 to 4 sales per year. And then I did a lot of investigation and interviews and found you online, Craig. And when we met with your consultant, they showed us the portal and the ad generator, and I was hooked.
Yeah,
I was hooked right away, and I signed up that day.
Got him.
And then essentially, I was solo from November 2020, moved to platinum in May, and then I was like, Kerryann, you need to
quit your job.
Quit your job because I'm too busy. Too busy. And then
Tim, they say the first sale that every salesperson must make is to themselves. So you sold yourself on this career, and then you sold Kerryann on it. So what was that scary for you, Kerryann, leaving your career to join Tim? Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah. I also didn't do a lot of the training with him initially, so I didn't have as much information or as much knowledge as he did. So I was going into this not as confident as he was. So it was a big leap.
Yeah. You guys are really excited about your career. And everyone watching this can see that. Why is that? Why are you so excited and optimistic about the future?
I think honestly, for us, one of the biggest things is that we finally have found the ability to have the support and the coaching that teaches us the way that real estate should be done, as opposed to doing everything that real estate agents hate doing. So it's brought like the passion and the excitement back to doing what we love, as opposed to just beating your head against the wall and hoping for the best.
Exactly.
It's funny how, we have these set paradigms, like, perhaps even what we think of, real estate agents and real estate as a career before we get into it. Like for me, my father was a real estate agent for 20 years before I got into it. And it was never anything I was like really interested in. Right. And so and then I became, of course, very interested in it. Tim, you said when you started with us, that you said, I don't even want a team. I have no interest in that. And someone at my organization said, well, you're going to change your mind. Wait and see. Tell us about that.
Well, essentially, my first paradigm and thought process was like, we service our clients so much that they become like advocates for us. And they message us constantly and say, we love your service. We appreciate it. And at first I was like, I can't replicate this. I'm on the ball all the time. I can't replicate it. And I was absolutely wrong. So now my paradigm has shifted where I know we can service more better with the team and supporting the team, as opposed to just doing it on your own. We can serve better. And
okay, well said. Did everyone get that point? Because all of us, and still many of you today, who, if you don't have a team, you may have this paradigm. I know I definitely shared that paradigm, Tim and Kerryann, that my clients love me and nobody's going to do it like Craig. And there's no way that my buyers and sellers are going to accept someone else showing up at the house if it's not right. And the truth is, I found I surrounded myself with team members that actually did a better job. We got more referrals. We got more 5-star reviews, and we could service more clients and cover more ground. So yeah, that's a paradigm for sure. So you've really come full circle on that.
Yes, absolutely. So since Kerryann jumped on board, that was a game changer because I could focus on the core business and get her busy. And then when we replicated that, we could demonstrate that to others and then show that, she can help, 3 to 4 families per month. And then we could replicate that. And then we got so much influx because I was like, we need more and more and more, and we can service more, and we're doing our customers a service. And that's when we brought on 2 other agents to do the same and replicate what we both have done now.
Yeah.
Essentially.
First of all, let me say this. It feels really good as a coach and a mentor to see the 2 of you as excited as you are. I mean, that's really the way life is supposed to work. We're supposed to get up every day and be super enthusiastic and excited about what we do. And so I can tell, you've got the bug. You're definitely into this, and that's awesome. Now, your team right now. Tell us about the team that you have and how, Tim, how you and Kerryann divide up the work that the both of you do.
So, well, I can just kind of talk about the team, and then he'll talk about sort of the mechanics of it. We have 3 OSAs currently. I am one of them still. We are working on moving me on to being more of a listing agent, but I'm still an OSA. We have an ISA, an admin, and then Tim is our sort of head operations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, Tim, what do you spend your time on? Is what is head of operations?
So I spend a lot of time on marketing, collaborating and learning from Craig Proctor system and implementing that stuff. And then also I work on not accountability for the agents, but reaching their goals. So I meet with them individually weekly we do training weekly.
Yeah.
Then we do, where our business is going weekly and what we're striving to become. And then we also do their personal goals to make sure that
we also meet weekly as well to make sure that if they're running into issues or if they need additional support or training, that we cover that off before they feel like they're not getting what they need as well.
Yeah.
Definitely rainmaker activities. Now, Tim, did you have any marketing experience before you got involved with us?
Not the right marketing experience.
Okay, so how were you getting before you got involved with the Craig Proctor system? How were you getting customers? How were you marketing yourself?
Just Facebook, honestly, and I dabbled in ads in Facebook, but I didn't know if I was sending the right message, and I wasn't. So essentially, my marketing wasn't doing anything, and I didn't know if I was on the right path either. So if I was doing anything, I didn't know if this is what I was supposed to be doing to go down the right.
But when we introduced you to kind of how to market correctly and implement the Craig Proctor system, you had an aptitude for it, right? You really liked it right away.
Yes. I was familiar with the mechanics of how to do ads and stuff like that. But then right off the bat, when I had that, the ad generator, my coach at the time, Rick Brash, he said, do this and let him come in and then do the work. And then honestly, we helped the family within 3 weeks of joining the program.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So you made your money back right away. That's what we like to hear.
That's what I said to Kerryann. I'm like,
it just paid for itself.
Craig Proctor just paid for himself right here. Yeah.
That's what we try to do with all of our clients. I mean, our goal when we take on a new realtor client is to help them get a quick win right away. And then whatever they pay me is taken care of, and it's all profit from there on in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Tim, you're really big on tracking. And we've got some slides we're going to show everybody. That's what we love about direct response marketing, right? That's what we love about the type of marketing, direct response marketing that we teach our clients is everything can be and should be measured. Talk about the kind of detail and the tracking that you do so you know what kind of return on investment you're getting on every dollar you spend.
Yeah, so we track our lead sources, where they come from. We track the calls made by our ISA to make sure that they're making enough calls, that they're booking enough appointments, that the prospect is qualified to book the appointment in the first place. And then we also track how many signed clients we have that we showed value to. And then we track everything going forward to closing and whatnot. And we do that individually through this program, Sisu, and we do it individually for each agent to see their progression. Yeah. And it's and it motivates everybody too.
Yeah.
It motivates them to do, and it's also a training system for us. If they're not, say for instance, they're struggling at gaining the signed buyer, we know obviously our numbers are higher. Like we had a show up rate problem for a bit, and then we nipped it in the butt, and our show up rate right now to date is 67%.
That's really the key. If you're not reaching your goals, is to break it down and find out why. And using Sisu here, you can quickly do an autopsy on your numbers and figure out where the problem lies. Like obviously, you can't fix a problem unless you know exactly where the problem is.
Yeah.
So this is amazing tracking that all of our members really at high levels, they know their numbers. And you've heard me say this before, the most successful realtors in the world know their numbers and study them like crazy. I remember meeting with Nathan Clark out of Rhode Island, and the information he had in his business was amazing. And you're following the same path here. So that's awesome. What are your best sources? There it is, your home sold, guaranteed, or will buy. What are your best sources of business right now? What media seems to be working the best for you?
Honestly, it's Facebook and Google at this moment, and sphere of influence. It's grown actually. Our we never had a big sphere of influence. And then when we started rolling with Facebook, we started with that, and that was a great source. And we, helped many families that way. Then we moved on to Google, and now Google is doing very, very well. We fine-tuned it to be in control of it, instead of third-partying it out. We're in control of it. We can see the numbers, we can track it. And then now, since that, our exposure to omnipresence that we've implemented or fully implementing, it's, we're getting a lot more sphere of influence that way as well. So there's many pillars now as opposed to before.
A realtor watching this might think, well, Tim and Kerryann, they're doing Facebook. I do Facebook. What's the difference? Let's talk about the messaging, because, a lot of realtors, if they hear us saying, well, we just do some stuff on Facebook, they're thinking, well, I do stuff on Facebook. There's nothing new here. It's the message. It's the offer that you're making inside the Craig Proctor system that is so unique. I'll have realtors who haven't joined up with us yet, and they'll say this. They'll do like an introductory call with us, which I'll talk about a little later on in the interview, and how everyone can do we call it a free breakthrough call. But on this free breakthrough call, we'll ask realtors a bunch of questions about where they are. You probably came on one, right, in the beginning, Tim? Yeah. So we ask you a bunch of questions about what you're doing and why you're doing it that way, and some of the realtors will conclude, okay, so you guys are doing Facebook. I already do Facebook, so I guess this is just about running Facebook ads. No. And then they'll say, well, Facebook doesn't work, Google doesn't work, direct mail doesn't work. And that's when we stop them, when we say, look, for example, with direct mail, the job of the postcard is to get delivered. That's the job of the postcard, right? Yeah. It's the offer or the message on your Facebook ads, your message with Google, your message with your direct mail, that's going to make or break your advertising. So a lot of realtors get caught up on, the media, like, this is about just running something on Facebook. No, it's very specific messaging. And most of our offers are not about us, the realtors. They're focused on what customers want. Yeah. So if those watching this take away anything at all, there's a few points that we've made here today. First of all, Tim and Kerryann didn't grow a team just for the sake of growing a team. They were growing their team. They're motivated to grow their team because they had an overflow of business. Yeah. So let's talk about how to get the overflow of business. In fact, as Tim mentioned, and we were chatting about before we got started here, Tim's paradigm was, I don't want a team. This is all about me. Nobody could do it like I'm doing it. And now he's realizing, hey, how many homes could I sell? Could we sell? Could Tim and Kerryann sell eventually if it had nothing to do with them? Right?
Yeah.
That's called a real business.
Yeah.
So, we have this paradigm shift from being the worker bee, everything depending on us, doing everything, to now, Tim, what did you call yourself? What title? What did he call himself, Kerryann? The head.
He's basically the spine of the business, but he's our main operations guy.
Yeah, main operation. I like that. All right, okay. So he gave himself a title, but it's really what that title is, Tim, is you're the person working on the business all day long, and you've removed yourself from working with buyers and sellers. Realtors often hear me say something that sets them back a little bit. Because I'll say, hey, if you really want to get rich in real estate, you can't be a real estate agent. And they're like, well, what do you mean by that, right? Well, if you think, Tim, you're not a real estate agent anymore, you're a business owner of a real estate company, and your sole function, your focus now is generating appointments for your team and recruiting and hiring the team and then tracking everything. That's what you do.
Yep.
And you make more money not selling real estate than, like I personally, back when I got in real estate, I never worked harder in real estate than my first couple of years in the business. But I also never made less money than in the first couple of years of my business. So the more I removed myself and the less of the real estate part I did, the more money I ended up making.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I want to talk to all the realtors in Calgary, Alberta. First of all, what's the market like right now in Calgary?
Fantastic.
Very hot. Still a seller's market. Yeah. Multiple offers, hard to get in showings.
All right. So this is, true for, I would think, all of North America, where the market is red hot. So let's think this through. We have more realtors struggling right now all over the United States and Canada than ever before. However, we would all agree we're in the hottest real estate market in the history of ever. There's more houses selling now than ever before. They're selling at higher prices than ever before. We got multiple offers on everything. We got the lowest interest rates, although they're starting to go up. But this is arguably one of the hottest real estate markets in the history of ever. And still, we have real estate agents that are struggling.
Yep.
It's time, if you're watching this right now and this resonates with you, all you have to do is look at Tim and Kerryann and look at the enthusiasm. Okay. The smile, the enthusiasm, hopefully everyone feels it because I do. Look, if you're in Calgary, you want to reach out to Tim and Kerryann and have a conversation about joining their team. Now, here's one of the things you're going to be thinking right now. Well, I'm an independent agent. I work for Remax. I work for Keller Williams or whatever. I don't want to leave. I don't want to give up my independence. Look, folks, the reason you got into real estate is because you want more freedom. To have freedom, you have to have both money and time. So you would get more of that if you gave up whatever you're doing and you just partnered up with Tim and Kerryann. So let me explain that this is the sweetest deal in Calgary real estate, because here's how it would work. All right. So Tim, every month, he pays for all the marketing. Okay. A lot. He pays a lot. He's got a big ad budget, and you can see full time. He's measuring every part of it. He's focused on doing one thing, which is generating leads for the company. Okay. So if you were to partner up with Tim and Kerryann, you would not have any ad spend. Okay. Now here's the other part. The leads would not even be given to you as an outside sales agent. It gets sweeter than that. The leads that Tim and Kerryann pay for go to the inside sales agents. The inside sales agents are coached up by Tim and Kerryann. They call all the leads, they qualify the leads, and the very best buyers and sellers, appointments are made. Yeah. Now, you as an outside sales agent could schedule your time. You could go into your company day timer and you could say to Tim and Kerryann, you know what, I don't want to work Fridays. That's cool. Yeah. You would set your availability, and whenever you're available, here's what would happen. Tim and Kerryann and the team are going to place listing appointments and buyer appointments on your day timer. Now, I want you to think about this. Yeah. You're not paying for any of the marketing. Okay. All you have to do is show up. We're not giving you leads, by the way. We're giving you actual appointments. You show up at the appointment. Now, it gets better than that. At the appointment, Tim and Kerryann have given you the Craig Proctor listing presentation, and they coach you up on it, right? The more you make, the more they make. They're not, they're your coaches, they're your mentors, and they're going to make sure you're super successful. All you need to do is show up on given day at given time at the address for this appointment and go through the presentation. The presentation's so good that when you're really coached and trained up, you will list 7 to 8 of 10 appointments you go on. You'll have like about 70 or 80% conversion. And if that's not true, Tim and Kerryann will be coaching you up and helping with that. Okay, now, think of how much money you could make doing that. I was talking to somebody at Remax the other day, and this guy's making like $100,000 a year, but he's spending 40 doing it.
Yep.
So he's telling me he just went through a divorce. He works 7 days a week. He says he makes 100, but after all his Remax fees and his advertising, that's 40,000. He's really making $60,000 a year. So where this conversation goes, I said, look, we all trade our lives for what we do. Do you think you're making a good trade? And he paused and he said, no. I said, look, someone like that in Calgary, like, let's just take this example. If this was a realtor in Calgary, they could make 2 or 3 or 4 times that amount of money working on your team. I had buyer agents. One of the first agents I hired was a buyer agent. I didn't trust her with the listings yet, right? Because, we're all paranoid because we don't think anyone can do it. Yeah, we don't think anyone can do it like us. Well, actually, she ended up being better than me. But her first year with me, okay, it was her first full year in real estate. She made $250,000 net in her pocket. Yep. Now, what would someone like that have to make if she was out on her own and had to pay for all the marketing and advertising? And, she'd have to make $350,000.
Yeah.
So, now, hopefully somebody watching this is in Calgary, Alberta, and they've been touched by this and they're like, okay, I want to get more information. Now, this is just a conversation. That's all. You're not obligated. Tim and Kerryann, they're not going to pull up in a white van and kidnap you or anything like that. What would be the best, and you don't have to be in Calgary, by the way, if you want to reach out to Tim and Kerryann and just verify their story. If you want to ask about the Craig Proctor system, they'd be happy to say, well, hey, look, this is what it's done for us. They don't have a horse in this race. Do it or don't do it, but this is our story. So what would be the best way to reach you guys?
Anybody can call or email me directly. And I did give my cell phone number out. So I know that that's going to be given in the comments on these lives. So anybody can reach out to me directly and you will get me directly. And then I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody about questions or shifting your paradigm, because that's usually the first conversation we have.
Yeah.
Yep. So true. And we'll drop, that's a good point. That's a good point, Kerryann. We'll drop all the contact information for Tim and Kerryann and for me in the comments below. And by the way, if you're not in Calgary, just in case you're watching this, you're not in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but this interview resonates with you. It makes sense. If you would like to book a breakthrough call with me and my team, again, it's free of charge. We're not going to try to sell you anything. We're simply going to lay out how this would work. We'd ask you a bunch of questions about where you are in your business, what you're doing now. And we'd say, well, if you're part of the Craig Proctor system, this is what we have for you. This is how you would no longer, the first thing we start with is what you don't have to do. Yeah. Okay. Well, no more cold calling, no more, door knocking, no more sitting in open houses, no more floor time, no more chasing, none of that. All that goes away. And we replace that with smart, modern marketing. And we replace it with systems. And eventually, like Tim and Kerryann, you replace it with people, right? And you leverage yourself. And pretty soon, you go, holy cow, you're smiling just like Tim and Kerryann. You're like, this is a really good opportunity because we can now make a transition from having a job as a real estate agent to really having a business. So if you are interested in doing a free breakthrough call with me and my team, all you have to do is go to proctorcall.com. So my name, Proctor Call, because it's a call. It's actually a Zoom meeting we do. Go to proctorcall.com. You book a day and a time, and we'll set up a Zoom meeting and have a conversation. Now, Kerryann, you mentioned paradigm and the way we think about things. Truly, this is the first thing we try to work on with realtors.
Yes.
Because, and this is a rhetorical question, I'm going to ask it anyway, but I know the answer. Could you even imagine going back to what you used to do and how you used to do real estate before you got involved with us? Like, think of how your thinking has changed.
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
No, not even close. And I think that's what a lot of realtors struggle with, honestly. Like, it's having a system where you get your life back and you make more money doing it is something that you don't hear realtors say. Because you do. When your phone rings at Christmas dinner, you're answering it because that's money. Like, there's money on the other end of that call. So you don't pass up that opportunity. Whereas when you have a system like this behind you, you get Christmas dinner again and it doesn't matter. Like, you get your life back and you make way more money doing it. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Even for relatively successful agents. I mean, I call it the success trap, because like in my second year of real estate, I think I sold 150 homes by myself. But I was young, I wasn't married, didn't have any kids, had a lot more energy then. But I projected myself into the future. I'm like, well, this is not duplicatable. And a lot of realtors get into this and they look around at what all the other realtors are doing and think, oh, that's just the nature of the business. Yeah. Everybody else gives up their life to it. Everyone else is going crazy too. And we believe that's the only way it can be done. Yeah. So it's almost like once we start to talk to you about the potential and the possibilities and we lay this out, like once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
It
right.
Makes sense.
Tim and Kerryann, I couldn't pay you to go back to your old way of thinking. You wouldn't do it, right? No. You're like, well, we know better, right? Yeah. So that's the first thing we try to do with new clients is we really try to get them to change the way they see the business and change the way they think about the business, because once they get it, there is no going back. Like you guys get it now. You're on fire, and it's just going to keep growing. Like, for example, what's your goal over the next couple of years?
So our goal this year is to help 100 families. And just to give you an idea, we went from 20 families last year and we've helped 30 so far this year. And that's just to give you the progression idea. And then eventually move on to, just better servicing the client, more of them to do the industry or clients, they need that service that we give. So we're going to go up to probably 200 to 500 homes in the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I forgot to ask, are you guys going to be in Anaheim in a couple of weeks?
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. I think we did mention that. Now, have you've been to our conferences?
Oh yeah.
We've been to every.
This is actually the first conference that we're going to be bringing members of our team with us.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So we're going to have about 1,000 Craig Proctor members all congregating in Anaheim, California, April 26th to the 28th. So if you want information on that, you can go to craigproctorseminar.com. We'll have that dropped. We'll have that link dropped in the comments as well. But it's not too late. We still have discounted room rates. I think until April 16th. So what's that, like maybe Friday? And we still can get you discounted admission, but you need to do it now. So and you get to hang around with all of us. Let's talk about that because that's an important point.
Yes.
You come to the conference to see your friends and to see all the other, super successful Craig Proctor members. How helpful is that, becoming friendly with Craig Proctor members from all over the United States and Canada that have been doing this for several years?
There's not enough we could explain the amount of value we get out of going. Not only do you get in 3 days, like a year and a half of coaching at the same time, but you get to meet everybody in the system and you get to narrow down. I'm good at picking out that guy knows what to do. I'm going to call him. So I've made friends with many, many people. I called somebody last night. They called me back at 11 their time. And I just had to pick their brain about something really quick. And they're super successful. And you hang around people these are the people I want to hang around with because they've done it. And they're so helpful and they reach out.
What I love about that is I think it's just human nature. When you're meeting with people at the conference that are selling 500, 1,000 homes a year, part of us as humans, we're like, well, that's something they can do and I can't do it or whatever. But when you start to become friendly, and what I mean by that is here's what happens at the conferences. Like Tim said, I'm pretty good at, picking out who I want to get close to and who I want to meet, right? So somebody that's really good, let's say, at something that you want to get better at, you go out to lunch with them, you go out to dinner with them. A lot of times what you learn just sitting at the bar at the end of the day, the people you meet.
Yes.
And here's what happens over time. You meet so many, you become friendly with so many Craig Proctor members who, help you and will give you advice, but you start to realize, hey, these people are no different than me. And they were a few years ago where I am right now. And I think that, really gives us confidence. That's like positive proof that, hey, you know what? I met this guy. He had all the doubts, self-doubts and concerns and challenges that I have. And here he is. He's maybe 2 years ahead of me, but look where he is. So it's very motivating to see other people doing the thing that you want to do. And you hear me often saying, everything that you want to do in real estate has already been done by thousands of Craig Proctor members. So that's what I love about the conference. Plus the energy is really cool too, right? So
you can't beat the energy at a conference. Yeah. And honestly, it was my first Anaheim conference that made me like a total Proctor. Like I fully drank the juice after my first Anaheim conference. Yes. So every time people ask, like, I don't know, should we go? I'm like, you shouldn't even be asking if you shouldn't go.
Make it happen.
You need to make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, Kerryann. Once we get members to go to the first one, it's usually never a problem getting them back. It's getting since we were basically getting all of our coaching clients prior to COVID from conferences, right? Yeah. So like 100% of our coaching, not 100%, but a lot of them were coming through our conferences. So when they were in coaching, the next conference that came along, they already knew how awesome it was because they came from one. Yeah. Where during the pandemic, Tim, you came through. You didn't start with a conference, so I'm glad you came to one because now you like them. But we have more of a challenge with new members who've never been through a conference because they just really don't know what they're missing.
And that you couldn't be more right. Like when Tim told me we were joining the Proctor system, I was like, yeah, okay. And then he told me everything we were doing and what the plan was and how much we were changing things. And I was like, I think this is a bad idea. And then we got to Anaheim and it was like, you're exactly right. I immediately day one in Anaheim, I was like, why didn't we do this sooner? Like how quickly can we get into these systems? How quickly can we implement? How fast can we grow? Like it was listening to people up on stage, talk about stories that were almost a carbon copy of Tim and I. And it was like, oh my God, it's doable. Like it lights such an inspirational fire inside you. And once you feel it, it doesn't ever go away.
And it creates a whole new family at the same time.
Yeah. Huge.
100%.
Yeah. We've met some of the most incredible people at the Craig Proctor conferences. And we now have lifelong friends as a result of it that are business partners. Like they're
going through the same.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's nice because you have friends that have a lot in common, and you guys, like you said, you can call each other at 11 o'clock at night, which is really cool. Yeah. Well, for everyone watching, it's fairly obvious why I chose Tim and Kerryann as an interview today because they're saying all the right things, right? But you know how you guys are passionate. Yeah, you guys are passionate about what you do. I mean, this makes me feel really good. This is why I still do this 30 years. A lot of people are like, why do you even do this, right? Because it's really cool to hear these life-changing stories, right? So that lights a fire in me. I've really enjoyed our interview today and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks in Anaheim, California.
Yeah, we can't wait.
So excited. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Oh, guys, if you're not going to Anaheim, you need to go to Anaheim. Yeah. That's all I honestly can tell you. You need to go to Anaheim.
It's been a game changer every time we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Our business has done nothing but grow after every single conference. Yeah. So
I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank Tim and Kerryann for doing an awesome interview. What we'll do in the comments below is all those tracking slides that Tim showed you. We'll have a link so you can download those. Also, we'll have Tim and Kerryann's contact information, and we'll have my contact information, proctorcall.com, if you want to book a free breakthrough call with my team and I. So Tim and Kerryann, my pleasure. Thank you so much for doing an awesome interview today.
Oh, thanks for having
Thanks,
us. It was
Craig.
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Great. We'll get you back around again in another year or so and see how you're proceeding.
That would be
Yes,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.